Surah Yasin. Hadith 324. Narrated Abu Dharr, once I was with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in the mosque at the time of sunset. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, O Abu Dharr, do you know where the sun sets? I replied, Allah and His Apostle know best. He said, it goes and prostrates underneath Allah's throne, and that is Allah's statement, and the sun runs on its fixed course for a term, decreed. And that is the decree of Almighty, the All-Knowing. Surah 36, Ayah 38. Hadith 325. Narrated Abu Dharr, I asked the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, about the statement of Allah, and the sun runs on fixed course for a term, decreed, Surah 36, Ayah 38. He said, its course is underneath Allah's throne. Prostration of sun, trees, stars, mentioned in Qur'an and Hadith does not mean like our prostration, but it means that these objects are obedient to their Creator, Allah, and they obey for what they have been created for. Surah As-Saffat, those angels lined up in ranks. Hadith 326. Narrated Abdullah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, nobody has the right to be better than Jonah bin Mutta. Hadith 327. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, he who says that I am better than Jonah bin Mutta, tells a lie. Surah Sad. Hadith 328. Narrated Al-Awwam, I asked Mujahid regarding the prostration in Surah Sad. He said, Ibn Abbas was asked the same question and he said, those are they, the prophets, whom Allah had guided. So follow their guidance. Surah 6, Ayah 90. Ibn Abbas used to perform a prostration, on reading this surah. Hadith 329. Narrated Al-Awwam, I asked Mujahid regarding the prostration in Surah Sad. He said, I asked Ibn Abbas, what evidence makes you prostrate? He said, don't you recite, and among his progeny, David and Solomon. Surah 6, Ayah 84. Those are they whom Allah had guided. So follow their guidance. Surah 6, Ayah 90. So David was one of those prophets whom Prophet, Muḥammad, peace and blessings be upon him, was ordered to follow. David prostrated, so Allah's Messenger, Muḥammad, peace and blessings be upon him, performed this prostration too. Hadith 330. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, last night, a demon from the jinns came to me, or the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said a similar sentence, to disturb my prayer, but Allah gave me the power to overcome him. I intended to tie him to one of the pillars of the mosque till the morning so that all of you could see him, but then I remembered the statement of my brother Solomon, my Lord. Forgive me and bestow on me a kingdom such as shall not belong to any other after me. Surah 38, Ayah 35. The narrator added, then he, the Prophet, dismissed him, rejected. Hadith 331. Narrated Masruq, we came upon Abdullah bin Mas'ud and he said, O people! If somebody knows something, he can say it, but if he does not know it, he should say, Allah knows better, for it is a sign of having knowledge to say about something which one does not know, Allah knows better. Allah said to his Prophet, say, O Muhammad! No wage do I ask of you for this, Qur'an, nor am I one of the pretenders, a person who pretends things which do not exist. Surah 38, Ayah 86. Now I will tell you about ad-Dukhan, the smoke. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, invited the Quraysh to embrace Islam, but they delayed their response. So he said, O Allah! Help me against them by sending on them 7 years of famine similar to the 7 years of famine of Joseph. So the famine year overtook them and everything was destroyed till they ate dead animals and skins. People started imagining to see smoke between them and the sky because of severe hunger. Allah said, "Then watch you for the day that the sky will bring forth a kind of smoke plainly visible, covering the people. This is painful torment." Surah 44, Ayat 10-11. So they invoked Allah, "Our Lord. Remove the punishment from us, really we are believers." How can there be an effectual reminder for them when an apostle, explaining things clearly, has already come to them? Then they had turned away from him and said, "One taught by a human being, a madman? We shall indeed remove punishment for a while, but truly, you will revert to disbelief." Surah 44, Ayat 12-15. Will the punishment be removed on the day of resurrection? Abdullah added, "The punishment was removed from them for a while but they reverted to disbelief, so Allah destroyed them on the day of Badr. Allah said, "The day we shall seize you with a mighty grasp. We will indeed, then, exact retribution." Surah 44, Ayah 16. Surah Az-Zumar, the successive groups. Hadith 332. Narrated Ibn Abbas, some pagans who committed murders in great number and committed illegal sexual intercourse excessively, came to Muhammad and said, "O Muhammad, whatever you say and invite people to, is good, but we wish if you could inform us whether we can make an expiation for our past evil deeds." So the divine verses came, "Those who invoke not with Allah any other God, nor kill such life as Allah has forbidden except for just cause, nor commit illegal sexual intercourse." Surah 25, Ayah 68. And there was also revealed, "Say, O my slaves who have transgressed against their souls, despair not of the mercy of Allah." Surah 39, Ayah 53. Hadith 333. Narrated Abdullah, a Jewish rabbi came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and he said, "O Muhammad, we learn that Allah will put all the heavens on one finger, and the earths on one finger, and the trees on one finger, and the water and the dust on one finger, and all the other created beings on one finger. Then he will say, I am the king." Thereupon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, smiled so that his premolar teeth became visible, and that was the confirmation of the rabbi. Then Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, recited, "They made not a just estimate of Allah such as is due to him. And on the day of resurrection the whole of the earth will be grasped by his hand, and the heavens will be rolled up in his right hand. Glorified is he, and high is he above all that they associate as partners with him." Surah 39, Ayah 67. Hadith 334. Narrated Abu Hurairah, I heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, "Allah will hold the whole earth, and roll all the heavens up in his right hand, and then he will say, I am the king, where are the kings of the earth?" Hadith 335. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "I will be the first to raise my head after the second blowing of the trumpet and will see Moses hanging on the throne, and I will not know whether he had been in that state all the time or after the blowing of the trumpet." Hadith 336. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Between the two blowings of the trumpet there will be 40. The people said, "O Abu Hurairah, 40 days? I refused to reply. They said, 40 years? I refused to reply, and added, "Everything of the human body will decay except the coccyx bone, of the tail, and from that bone Allah will reconstruct the whole body." Surah Ghafir, the Forgiver. Hadith 337. Narrated Urwah bin Az-Zubayr, I asked Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As to inform me of the worst thing the pagans had done to Allah's apostle. He said, while Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was praying in the courtyard of the Kaaba, Uqbah bin Abi Mu'ayt came and seized Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, by the shoulder and twisted his garment round his neck and throttled him severely. Abu Bakr came and seized Uqba's shoulder and threw him away from Allah's apostle and said, "Would you kill a man because he says, 'My Lord is Allah,' and has come to you with clear signs from your Lord?" Surah 40, Ayah 28. Surah Fussilat, verses perfectly explained. Hadith 338. Narrated Ibn Mas'ud, regarding the verse, "And you have not been screening against yourself lest your ears, and your eyes and your skin should testify against you." Surah 41, Ayah 22, while two persons from Quraysh and their brother-in-law from Thaqif, or two persons from Thaqif and their brother-in-law from Quraysh, were in a house, they said to each other, "Do you think that Allah hears our talks?" Some said, "He hears a portion thereof." Others said, "If he can hear a portion of it, he can hear all of it." Then the following verse was revealed, "And you have not been screening against yourself lest your ears, and your eyes and your skin should testify against you." Surah 41, Ayah 22. Hadith 339. Narrated Abdullah, there gathered near the house, that is, the Kaaba, two Qurayshi persons and a person from Thaqif, or two persons from Thaqif and one from Quraysh, and all of them with very fat bellies but very little intelligence. One of them said, "Do you think that Allah hears what we say?" Another said, "He hears us when we talk in a loud voice, but he doesn't hear us when we talk in a low tone." The third said, "If he can hear when we talk in a loud tone, then he can also hear when we speak in a low tone." Then Allah, the Honorable, the Majestic revealed, "And you have not been screening against yourself lest your ears, and eyes, and your skins should testify against you." Surah 41, Ayat 22-23. This hadith has been narrated through another chain as well. Surah Ash-Shura, Consultation. Hadith 340. Narrated Ibn Abbas, that he was asked, regarding, "Except to be kind to me for my kinship with you," Surah 42, Ayah 23. Sa'id bin Jubayr, who was present then, said, "It means here, to show what is due for the relatives of Muhammad." On that, Ibn Abbas said, "You have hurried in giving the answer. There was no branch of the tribe of Quraysh but the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had relatives therein. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, 'I do not want anything from you, except to be kind to me for my kinship with you.'" Surah Az-Zukhruf, Ornaments. Hadith 341. Narrated Ya Allah, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, reciting when on the pulpit, "They will cry, O Mālik, keeper of hell. Let your Lord make an end of us." Surah 43, Ayah 77. Surah Ad-Dukhan, the Haze. Hadith 342. Narrated Abdullah, 5 things have passed, that is, the smoke, the defeat of the Romans, the splitting of the moon, Al-Batsha, the defeat of the infidels in the battle of Badr, and Al-Lazam, the punishment. Hadith 343. Narrated Abdullah, that is, the imagined smoke, was because when the Quraysh refused to obey the Prophet, he asked Allah to afflict them with years of famine similar to those of Prophet Joseph. So they were stricken with famine and fatigue, so much so that they ate even bones. A man would look towards the sky and imagine seeing something like smoke between him and the sky because of extreme fatigue. So Allah revealed, "Then watch you for the day that the sky will bring forth a kind of smoke plainly visible, covering the people, this is a painful torment." Surah 44, Ayat 10-11. Then someone, Abu Sufyan, came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, "O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Invoke Allah to send rain for the tribes of Mudar for they are on the verge of destruction." On that, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, astonishingly, "Shall I invoke Allah for the tribes of Mudar? Verily, you are a brave man." But the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, prayed for rain and it rained for them. Then the verse was revealed, but truly you will return to disbelief. Surah 44, Ayah 15. When the famine was over and they restored prosperity and welfare, they reverted to their ways of heathenism, whereupon Allah revealed, on the day when we shall seize you with a mighty grasp. We will indeed, then, exact retribution. Surah 44, Ayah 16. The narrator said, that was the day of the Battle of Badr. Hadith 344. Narrated Abdullah, it is a sign of having knowledge that, when you do not know something, you say, Allah knows better. Allah said to his Prophet, say, no wage do I ask of you for this, Qur'an, nor am I one of the pretenders, a person who pretends things which do not exist. Surah 38, Ayah 86. When the Quraysh troubled and stood against the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he said, O Allah! Help me against them by afflicting them with 7 years of famine like the 7 years of Joseph. So they were stricken with a year of famine during which they ate bones and dead animals because of too much suffering, and one of them would see something like smoke between him and the sky because of hunger. Then they said, Our Lord! Remove the torment from us, really we are believers. Surah 44, Ayah 12. And then it was said to the Prophet, by Allah, if we remove it from them, they will revert to their ways of heathenism. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked his Lord, who removed the punishment from them, but later they reverted to heathenism, whereupon Allah punished them on the day of the Battle of Badr, and that is what Allah's statement indicates. Then watch for the day that the sky will bring forth a kind of smoke plainly visible, we will indeed, then, exact retribution. Surah 44, Ayah 10. Hadith 345. Narrated Masruq, I came upon Abdullah and he said, when Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, invited Quraysh to Islam, they disbelieved him and stood against him. So he, the Prophet, said, O Allah! Help me against them by afflicting them with 7 years of famine similar to the 7 years of Joseph. So they were stricken with a year of drought that destroyed everything, and they started eating dead animals, and if one of them got up he would see something like smoke between him and the sky from the severe fatigue and hunger. Abdullah then recited, Then watch you for the day that the sky will bring forth a kind of smoke plainly visible, covering the people. This is a painful torment. Till he reached, we shall indeed remove the punishment for a while, but truly you will revert to heathenism. Surah 44, Ayat 10-15. Abdullah added, Will the punishment be removed from them on the day of resurrection? He added, The severe grasp was the day of the Battle of Badr. Hadith 346. Narrated Abdullah, Allah sent the Prophet, Muḥammad and said, Say, no wage do I ask of you for this, Qur'an, nor am I one of the pretenders, that is, a person who pretends things which do not exist. Surah 38, Ayah 68. When Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saw Quraysh standing against him, he said, O Allah! Help me against them by afflicting them with 7 years of famine similar to the 7 years of famine of Joseph. So they were afflicted with a year of drought that destroyed everything, and they ate bones and hides. One of them said, And they ate hides and dead animals, and it seemed to them that something like smoke was coming out of the earth. So Abu Sufyan came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and said, O Muhammad! Your people are on the verge of destruction. Please invoke Allah to relieve them. So the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, invoked Allah for them, and the famine disappeared. He said to them, You will revert to heathenism after that. Abdullah then recited, Then watch you for the day that the sky will bring forth a kind of smoke plainly visible, but truly you will revert to disbelief. He added, Will the punishment be removed from them in the hereafter? The smoke and the grasp and the ul-azam have all passed. One of the sub-narrators said, The splitting of the moon. And another said, The defeat of the Romans has passed. Hadith 347. Narrated Abdullah, 5 things have passed, Ul-Azam, the defeat of the Romans, the mighty grasp, the splitting of the moon, and the smoke.